when I was living in Virginia, they had this, most eligible bachelor list. I made it one year. I was on a cover of a magazine.
A most eligible bachelor?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, look at
like
you.
some charity auction.
Woo! People were probably making it rain for your services. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Chris Simms Unbuttoned, and your eyes do not deceive you. Yes, we are big time. We have a new studio, a new podcast set.
Dang.
Hey, first off, great to see you, buddy, old pal. It's been a while. We're back at it.
6 weeks.
Football season's here. Training camp's here. First day back on the job. And, I learned a long time ago in the NFL locker room, sometimes the squeaky wheel gets oiled. That's what I learned.
Yeah.
I said something about the set out in Central Park.
Yeah.
I said something again. I said it a few more times. And look at, promised by one of my great bosses and Matthew Casey, he kind of goes, hey, we're going to get to Studio 3. We're going to make your podcast in there, and look at this, with this background, this setup, with you, plenty of room to hide your energy drink.
I got it behind
We
here.
do have a desk, and you're not wearing red pants today. We'll never see them again.
We'll never see the
But
pants.
I'll tell them nonetheless.
Okay.
But good to be back, man.
Good to be back with you. I want to get into what you did and how you spent your time away from football.
Sure.
I know you can't get completely away from football because you're too much of a nut.
Not totally.
You love it too much. But the set is a big deal because whatever it was before, people described it as an airport hangar. We had people that walked by. It was interesting and it was unique. But you felt like, and I don't know if you ever said it on the pod to your credit, but you complained behind the scenes. You're like, I'm done with it. I'm ready for something new.
I did. It kind of hit me like, I feel like mid-spring, where I saw some videos on social media and stuff, and I was like, I'm kind of tired of that look. I think we can do better here at NBC. And so I kind of started there, and slowly but surely we got it done. And I think this is going to look great. I mean, look at the color. I feel like I look like I'm in CGI here, especially with my damn Buccaneers jersey I got, 50th anniversary Bucks, baby. The Bucks sent this to me with my name embroidered on the back.
I love that jersey. I love the look of that jersey. Oh, look at that. That was
a special
awesome
gift, actually, when I got this.
Because I did see him mailing out the creamsicle with the Baker Mayfield and all that.
Right.
This is the only Simms I have seen. That looks amazing.
The Bucks have been very good to me. 50th anniversary. I am going to be a part of their documentary for some reason. I don't know why. They wanted to bring down the value of it a little bit. But they were like, hey, we're trying to publicize, the creamsicle uniforms, the 50th anniversary. If we send you a jersey, will you, put it on social media? And I was like, put it on social media. I'm going to wear it on the show the first day, I promise. But as soon as I'm back, and they were like, oh, even better. And I think when I said that, then they were like, okay, let's put his name on the back too. But it's really cool, man. So it's great to be here, man. I'm pumped about this set.
This is great.
I'm energized. I'm ready to go.
It's a brand new beginning to the podcast.
Right.
A new year, new set, new us. We've got a lot to talk about. We want to bust some narratives on this podcast. We want to go through some of the storylines that have happened, get the Simms take on those throughout the offseason. So it's a wide-ranging pod, and we're going to get to all that. But I do want to know, what'd you do with your family?
Not a lot. Not a lot. I mean, my son plays travel baseball, so we did that a whole lot. Right? It was like 5 days a week, really, at certain parts of July. So, but I love that. Didn't go anywhere. Had a lot of family in and out of the house, staying for a weekend, stay for 2 nights here and there, right? So there was always action stuff going on like that. I mean, it was a lot of smoking and drinky.
Yeah.
That's why it's good to be back at work. There's only so much I could smoke and drink in 6 weeks, okay? I think I hit my limit here a little bit.
Did you stop the last week or two?
No, I did not stop. In fact, I went harder the last week. I was like, this is the last hurrah. I'm going out swinging, everybody. So I did that, had a blast. My love of my life, my chickens, my baby chickens, I'm trying to raise them, right? I had 9 baby chickens. I'm down to 7 already.
Wait, what happened?
NFC South rivals, the Falcons, sent a falcon to my backyard.
No way.
And he got 2 of those damn.
Oh, man.
He got 2 of my baby chickens. But other than that, man, that was about it. Pretty simple. How about you? Anything special?
Good. We took a cruise for the first time. The family was so nervous about it. We had a cruise planned in December.
Right.
We canceled it because everyone freaked out. The whole family was just like, we're not.
We're going to be on a boat in the middle of the sea?
Which, talking to a lot of people afterwards, a lot of people have this fear. Because I asked people, I was like, have you ever been on a cruise? And they're like, no, I would never go on a cruise.
I will never go on. I'm one of those
You will never
people.
go on a
I'm
cruise.
not going on a cruise. That's not happening.
So that could have been our family. We decided again, we were like, all right, let's do it. Let's try it. Let's all band together, huddle together, and we got it. So we went to Bermuda out of Manhattan.
Yeah.
It was a 5-day cruise, 4 nights. We loved it. It was a great time. It was a Carnival cruise. It was like one day at sea. You're at Bermuda for 7 hours. You get back on the boat. You go back. I mean, everything's provided for you.
Water slides on there. And like
water slides were up there. 2 pools. Pizza 24/7. The kids were loving that. I mean, the cool thing is I have an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old. They could walk all around the boat. And they could
feel good about that.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's just like, all right, just meet us back here.
Yeah, right.
And so they felt a little independent. So we actually really loved it. And dare I say, we might be becoming cruise people now.
I have my brother-in-law is a cruise person.
Yeah.
He does it twice a year just about, so I get it.
What is it? The boat, being out at sea trapped.
I think that's what it is. Like, I'm not afraid of being on a big boat in the ocean. But maybe in the middle of the ocean I am. Like, if you told me, like, hey, you can go on Michael Jordan's yacht in the Mediterranean, and, you know, you're kind of still see the shore, and every now and then we get off and jump. Like, I'm like, okay with that. But, like, once I can't see land, and I'm out in this huge boat with a bunch of strangers, I don't know. I don't know sure if that's my cup of tea. So that's what but maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong there.
All right. So
but more importantly.
Yes.
We played the opening with you, Ahmed Fareed, The Bachelor.
Yeah.
Okay?
I did volunteer that information.
You did volunteer it, and as you thought, it would come back to haunt you, and it's going to. Here's payday for you, okay?
Yes.
July 28th, we got Ahmed Fareed, The Bachelor. Look at this, Hampton Roads Magazine.
Kristen found this.
Man, sexiest man alive, Ahmed Fareed being...
Does it say that?
No, it does not. I'm lying about that
look
part,
at that.
But
look at
these. Wow. And you got the sit-on-the-ground pose like you're a male model. Look at this going.
I remember that photo shoot. So we were in a museum. Pete wants to know if we're in a parking lot, which it does look like. It's like they just sit on the ground.
White lines behind there.
It was a museum, and I remember that so well. And they're just like, yeah, just lean back. And they go, maybe put one knee up. You know how those go. You know, you're just like, everything feels so unnatural. But yeah, that was. Look at me. Do I look the same, or do I look significantly older now?
You look older. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But you still look good.
Thank you.
You know, now with your salty pepper hair and all that, we talked about it. You're like the most interesting man in the world, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Professional announcer guy over there. But I got to read some of these answers.
So they asked me questions for this, right?
Favorite book, okay?
I have no idea.
I thought this was going to be something deep from you because I figured you're a reader since you don't watch movies.
Yeah.
Your favorite book is the 1987 Detroit Tigers yearbook.
Yeah.
Deep thoughts.
Yeah.
If you were trying to get an interesting bachelor who's deep, I don't know.
That was
then
not
it
me.
goes to favorite movie.
Oh no!
And when I saw this, I was like, movie? This guy doesn't watch TV. He only watches sports on TV. He doesn't do that.
What did I say?
Would Sister Act instantly disqualify me? Yes, it would actually.
Yeah.
It would. You're disqualified. Okay, then Groundhog Day. And I won't even. Have you ever even seen Groundhog Day?
I love Groundhog Day. That legitimately is my number one favorite movie. But I do actually like Sister Act is a pretty fun movie back in the day.
It is a good movie.
See, thank you.
I won't disagree with that.
But I didn't want to say that. See, so we clearly
you didn't sound manly enough with Sister Act.
We clearly see what I was trying to do. I was trying to go for the funny guy.
Right.
You know, it's just like, because there's always, I could have picked other movies there, but I wanted to be the funny guy here, I guess.
Man, guitar picks are the things you spend too much money on.
Oh, see, I tried to indicate
you're
that
a thrifty guy right there.
You know, that's a sly.
Yeah.
That's a sly thing.
So you tried to be the cool guitar guy.
Yeah.
While also,
I wanted to say I play guitar without saying, hey, I play guitar.
Oh, well done.
Okay.
Well done. Oh, I'd lose 2 picks a day because I play so much.
Yeah.
Well, your favorite thing about the opposite sex? Wow, this goes over well with all the ladies.
What did I
Seeing
say?
her smile and hearing her laugh, nothing better.
Look at this.
You are a charmer. What a charmer you are.
Who would have known they'd be more embarrassing 20 years later?
Your signature dish?
Yes.
Tombstone pizza? Yeah, well, you're a good cook there, huh?
Yeah.
Just throw it in the oven?
Yeah.
Throw it in the oven?
I mean, I did make a lot of those when I was single back in 26.
Of course. And then your signature drink.
Yeah.
Red Bull and vodka.
That was my signature.
And I've got some really good friends that's what they drink too. So maybe that's why we're friends. But I've never seen you drink that ever now.
I had to give it up.
Yeah.
Because I don't know
having
what
heart attacks on a
I don't know
daily
what
basis?
happened to me, but you know, I've never done drugs. I've never done cocaine. I can say that on the podcast, and I'm proud of that. I do believe that if you've had enough Red Bull and vodka, it can simulate what that is like. I
have friends
it's like the upper
who
and
drink
downer
all night, and I can see they'll at the end of the night go, look, you can see my heart beating through my chest, and I'm like, wow, you're great.
I had to give that one up.
Yes. And then in the last but not least section, in 3 words or less, describe yourself at age 13.
Yeah.
And you said 13 years old.
Oh, that is me. I would still say that to this day.
Deep thoughts by Ahmed for a read
thanks.
there.
Hey, thanks for taking me down memory lane.
Hey, we had to take you down there. You opened yourself up for that, so we had to do that. You're still drinking energy drinks.
I am still doing that.
So you're still trying to get that heart attack thing going.
And I was, 26 there? I didn't meet my wife until 4.5 years later.
4.5 years later.
Magazine
so that was
did not work.
Scrubbed off the internet. She didn't see it, and that's why she married
thank God.
you.
Yeah, that had time to get out of there. Yeah, and she loved Tombstone Pizza, as Pete said.
Yeah.
So it was a match made in heaven. Well, thanks for that. Thanks for taking me down and embarrassing me. Now what we're going to do is bust some narratives. We're going to get to work here. We're going to go through some of the top storylines. But before we do that, we bring back the song for Bust the Narrative.
Boom, boom, boom.
Chris Simms is the guy you have trust in. But it ain't just rhymes that he's bustin'. Every single year it's imperative that we go ahead and bust your damn narrative. Oh! B-Rabbit.
B-Rabbit. B-Rabbit.
Well done. I forgot about that one.
Well done. From Detroit. You're
well
hanging
done
out with Eminem. Way to go.
All right, so we got a lot to get through here. Let's do it here in the new studios. Just keep it professional.
Yep.
We'll start out with the holdouts, because this is going to be one of the narratives out there, is that every holdout, we saw it last year with Brandon Ayuk and the 49ers, and maybe you can make the argument that it did mess them up as the year went on.
The Bengals. They've dealt with it. We've seen the Cowboys in the other years past deal with it. We're missing some other people probably along the way here, but it's not the way you want to do business or start off your season with these type of things.
So here it is. So we got, Micah Parsons now, Trey Hendrickson. So again, Bengals and Cowboys are doing it again. Terry McLaurin over with the Washington Commanders.
Right.
So here is the narrative that we either bust or we can just say, there's something to this.
Yeah, right.
Holdouts are a team distraction in training camp.
That's like, we don't need to bust that. That is a real thing.
Yeah.
No doubt. And especially, forget about it. Like, okay, if it's a middle-of-the-road player or somebody like that, maybe it doesn't have quite the same effect on the locker room and the football team.
Yeah.
When it's your best player, the best player in the league at his position, just starting the prime of his career, it becomes a distraction. Or if it's a top 2 or 3 player on your football team, it becomes a distraction. One, okay, first off, everybody worries about, hey, he's a good player. We need him out here. We want him to play. The coaches are talking about it, whether you like it or not. They are. They're talking about it to the players in the meeting rooms, too, when they have little quiet moments and stuff like that. So that becomes a distraction as far as like that department, right? You see the media and right now, and Jerry Jones and social media and whatever, the questions he has to answer all the time. So these become distractions, certainly, when it's a big star football player and the team starts to wonder when this will get done. Why isn't our best player out there? Okay. And then you add into the fact of like, hey, it's one of the most important positions in all of football. I mean, hey, quarterback, left tackle, defensive end. That's where it's all about. Right? I mean, those are the 3 most important positions in football, and yet here they have a guy that is clearly, in my opinion, the top edge pass rusher in football. I would take him over T.J. Watt or Myles Garrett, and I love them, and it's no disrespect to them. I've been saying for 2-3 years now, I'm amazed by what Micah Parsons does.
Yeah.
But yes, it affects your football team in more ways than you think. And then, okay, now he's there in the building. It's a reminder every day to that, too. It is. And it becomes something that everybody starts to talk about all the time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that tentacles off of it that are not good for a football team.
So I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
And obviously you know better than I do, being in those rooms. But I would say, so that is the general feeling that you would have around the team. Like,
Right.
I wish this would get done. Now, if you asked any individual player, though, I would bet, right? If I asked you, hey, Chris Simms, how much is it affecting you personally with your preparation and how you're performing out here that Micah Parsons is not signed?
Right.
I bet a lot of those individual players are like, well, it doesn't make a difference to me. Like, I'm the same as I would be if he was here or not. And so
on a day-to-day basis, you're right. Like your quarterback, I'm not going to be like, oh man, I had a bad practice today because I was thinking about Micah's contract extension, right? But are there going to be moments too where team players are in stretch and they're sitting there and stretch instead of like thinking about practice and
it's
some
an
of the things they
overall
have to
vibe,
do?
right?
Right.
An
You're going to be
overall
sitting there
bad
looking
vibe.
over at Micah Parsons and like, hey, I know usually we sit here and talk about the plays we're about to do in practice, but man, I was talking to Micah in the locker room today. He's pissed.
Yeah.
He's had it with what Jerry's talking about and all that, right? And that's where it starts to become an annoyance. And then people just start to wonder, when will he be out there to help our football team? And then, of course, will he be at his best when he does get out here? Are they going to drag their feet forever to where he can't put his best foot forward early on in the football season? Those are the things you have to worry about. But like the distraction itself, okay, is not not like going to deter players on a day-to-day basis. It just becomes an overall, like every day, oh, I see the media, oh, I got to ask him about Micah Parsons. It gets exhausting for the players. I think that's the other thing. You go out, you sign autographs. Every other person that you have to sign an autograph for, hey, do you think Micah's going to get signed soon? What do you think they're going to do with Micah? You just get sick of answering those type of questions, let alone it's not helping your football team. And this is a guy that, like we just said, one of the best players in his position, the best player on the football team, in my opinion. He's doing everything right off the field to be paid. He was there at OTAs. He was around. He's been in the building. He could have held out. He showed up, right? So he's trying to keep himself in tip-top football shape. But here's my biggest problem with it all. And this is the overall Cowboys problem. And you heard me say this a little bit before the pod. The good teams in football just don't do this right now. They don't. They don't drag their feet like this. When you really look at your Detroit Lions, the Baltimore Ravens, the Philadelphia Eagles, for the most part, I know it's not perfect, but for the most part, the Kansas City Chiefs, we don't have these conversations about those football teams because they're ahead of the curve always. They get it done. Why couldn't you pay Micah Parsons last year? You could have got him last year for $34 million. This year, you're definitely going to go north of $42 million, right? What's the difference in that? And people might say, oh, what's the big deal, right? Well, on a year-to-year basis, now you're paying somebody maybe $8, $9, $10 million a year more, right? And if you have that at a few positions, like they do with Dak Prescott, who's being paid like the highest paid quarterback in football, and he's not a top 10 quarterback in football, those type of contracts cost your team 3 or 4 or 5 other quality football players, right? Instead of like getting out in front of it and being like, hey, we got Micah done. Now we know our books are prepared. We got him for $34 million a year. We know what our wiggle room is for next year, so we can attack free agency in a certain way. Oh, we got Dak done. We saved a little money there. Blah, 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 blah. Now we got money for that. And not only is it for planning for the future, but you're wasting valuable players for a roster spot that could help you with the depth or the talent of your football team. And that's my big thing. You're messing up the team building process. And I always go back to the Eagles right now because they're that, right? Trust your evaluation, Dallas Cowboys. I mean, you knew he was the man. So what were we waiting on, right? You see the Eagles, they go, Landon Dickerson, he's really good. Let's sign him now. We know he's going to be one of the top guards in football. It's already looking like that. Let's get him done now, right? And here we are. We're going to go into like year 3 of his contract. He's going to be like the eighth highest paid guy in the league at this position, right? But they got out in front of it, and they continually do that. And then it allows them to go get Saquon Barkley and pay more money than everybody else was willing to pay, or make other moves like that. And that, to me, is what's being missed out about the Cowboys. He wants to go back to the Super Bowl and do all that. Well, you're not going to get there with the way you're doing business and doing these contracts. Not only is it a little distraction, it's just bad business, and you're costing yourself better players.
And that is so easy to understand. I would have to believe that the Cowboys have been faced with that argument, and that they have made the calculation, and the Bengals too, maybe. They have made the calculation that we want to make sure that we do not set a precedent for every future player that we have, even if he's a superstar player.
I get that.
We're going to give you what you want.
Then why do they keep doing it?
I'm just trying to say why they do it. Why would they do that? Because you're right. And to your other point about, maybe it's not a distraction to the individual player. We all know what it feels like to work at a place where you know you're going to be taken care of.
Yes,
right? And you know that once your time comes to be paid, and if you play well, and who has played better than Micah Parsons for the Dallas Cowboys and Trey Hendrickson for the Bengals and Jamar Chase last year, it's like so.
And then Jerry says things
it's a vibe.
It's a vibe, but then Jerry adds to the negative vibe. Yes. Right? This is something we played with Florio today. He kind of makes comments last week where he kind of makes disparaging remarks about Dak Prescott while trying to make a point about Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
And then also disrespects Micah Parsons by saying the CeeDee Lamb chants were louder last year.
That might not be an overall strategy. That just might be an older man that's just saying whatever he wants to say.
It doesn't make. And then all of a sudden the fans know, Jerry. So you're going to listen to the fans now? Oh no, you're not. So that the approach there, I don't get that, and it's one of the reasons they're a little bit all over the place as a football team. They're good evaluators. I understand he's a great businessman off the field and does all those things correct, but the team building aspect is certainly an issue there with the Dallas Cowboys.
What do you think about McLaurin and Washington? Anything specifically with that one?
I think it's just finding the sweet spot, right? Yeah. With Terry McLaurin, first off, I feel like he's got some leverage here because you got a quarterback that's the franchise. You don't want him to take a step back in year 2, right? He's unlike anything they have on their roster. I know some people, some common fans might go, well, they got Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel's not a deep down the field threat. When's the last time we saw Deebo Samuel catch a bomb down the field? No, he's the underneath guy, catch a screen, catch a short pass, break a tackle, run through through some arms, do that, get some extra yards. Terry McLaurin is their big play guy. He's the guy that opens up the offense. He is the guy that you could throw a slant to and he can run 60 yards for a touchdown, or you can go, ooh, he's one-on-one, and I'm just going to let him run by somebody, and I'm Jaden Daniels, and I'm going to throw a bomb up there for him. I hope that gets done sooner rather than later. What I haven't heard yet is exactly what's being asked for. He certainly deserves a new deal. He's a little over $16 million here in the last year of his contract.
Because there is a point where you're just like, okay, Terry,
that's right.
Maybe we're getting a little
exactly. If he's going trying to get into $35-36 million a year range for that, I would be on Washington's side and go, no, I wouldn't pay Terry McLaurin that either, right? But the sweet spot of somewhere between 28, 30, 31, I think I would do that for Terry McLaurin. There's no doubt about that, especially with where your team is at. They're ready. They're in a Super Bowl window. Yeah. They're believing in their franchise quarterback, and why would you want to set that back at all? So I expect that to get done. Him being at camp, I think, is a good sign altogether.
Chargers, one of the teams that has mitigated the distraction with Rashawn Slater, 4-year, $114 million extension. Don't got to worry about that anymore.
Joe Ortiz, and I'm always not sure if I say his last name the right way, but either way, his GM, Jim Harbaugh, the coach, they have a vision for their team. They know what they want to be, Ahmed. You know that, right? I mean, you're a Michigan fan. Hey, we drafted Joe Alt. We got Rashawn Slater. We signed Mekhi Becton. We got a power running back in Omarion Hampton in the first round. They want to run the ball and be physical. And they know that Rashawn Slater is unquestionable, like definitely one of the 5 best tackles in football. Tristan Wirfs, Slater, Darisaw up there, your Penei Sewell at right tackle, the 2 guys of the Eagles, Trent Williams. To me, that's like the cream of the crop right there. They know it, believe it, get it done, see you later. So that's a great job by them, and it's not only it fits their team, it fits how they want to play football. Everything about it's good.
Speaking of the Eagles, they got the band back together. They are going to try to defend their title, or are they? Here's some quotes from the Eagles on that specifically.
That was the main thing this year, moving on, because whatever we did last year, that's in the rearview mirror, and it doesn't matter anymore. We're not defending nothing. We're not the defending champs. We're the 2024 world champs, that's it. We're not defending. Sorry, we're not. So I don't like hearing like, oh, we're the defending champions. We're not defending nothing. We just won the title. And now we've got to go win it again, prove it all over again. And that's the mentality this team is going to have. We're not here to prove anything to anyone else but ourselves, and we know the mission. We're mission-focused.
Jordan Mailata saying we are not defending
Wise
anything,
words.
swearing on camera. And then, if you noticed, if you were watching, he apologized to one guy. I don't know. Like, sorry about that. I didn't mean for you to hear that. Like a kid's there in the audience.
Yeah, right.
I love that mentality, right? And it clearly is a mentality because I think we've heard Jalen Hurts say something similar here.
Yeah, it's the mentality. It's obviously their mantra going into the season right here. But it's cool, and you could say all that stuff, and that's the right approach. I mean, he's saying all the right things. But having been in that, experiencing that before, not as that I played, but my first year in the NFL was the Bucs were coming off the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They were the defending champs, right? You could say all what you want about, hey, we're going to get it this year, last year, blah, blah, blah. You're going to get to the regular season, and the first game, we're going to be there going, hey, we're the Super Bowl champions, the Eagles. And every team is going to look at them and measure themselves to the Super Bowl standard and go, wait, Eagles, you got the Super Bowl bullseye on your back. And you know how it is. Early in the year, you beat these defending Super Bowl champions. You go, wait, we're good. We just beat the champs. Here we go. Let's start our momentum going here. So it's going to be easier said than done than actually taking that. But I do like the approach. And we know they got so many good players. They got a great leader in Jalen Hurts. I think they got a lot of great veteran leaders there. But I don't think it'll be as easy. Because I know some of that stuff was said on my Buccaneers football team. And it was cool maybe for a little bit. And then it was like, oh, we went to Philadelphia, actually, speak of the devil, to start the year in their new stadium. Mm-hmm. And that's all the players heard. Hey, you beat this team to go to the Super Bowl, right? Warren Sapp. So you beat the Eagles last year in the NFC Championship to go to the Super Bowl. They want what you got. So all of a sudden now it's like, no, we're the champs. What are you talking about? No, we're chasing the championship. The next week we played the Carolina Panthers with Julius Peppers. We want to knock out the champs. We're coming for their title, right? So there you are. Yeah, okay, still, but people are still talking about it.
Guys, how many times I got to tell you we're not the champs anymore?
Exactly. So that's where it'll be fun to see them fight these narratives negatives and that mental anguish there, but they're certainly mentally strong there because of the coach.
And I do get it, because language does matter, and the words that you use sometimes do matter, and it creates a mantra. When baseball season, I was watching some clips trying to help my son, with his swing and all that, and there was one player, you always hear about protecting with 2 strikes, and this one coach was like, why do we always say protecting? It puts you in a defensive stance immediately.
Totally.
You attack with 2 strikes. You're just a little more,
shorten your swing up, and
your attack zone is bigger. It's not like you got to defend. And so they're trying to do the same type of thing, right? It's like kind of like we're hungry, we're attacking, and that hunger is often a question, for teams that have won the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs last year were a team that's trying to go back to back to back. And I do want to transition to them real quick because I do think that's interesting. It's the Eagles are trying to say, we're hungry, we want to do it again.
The Chiefs last year were like, we are the defending champs, and we won 3 in a row, right? They took a different approach.
But at a certain point, right? At a certain point, you do wonder, the Chiefs, it's like it's impossible to do it year after year after year after year.
I'm glad we're talking about this because this has been something on my mind for sure.
Yeah.
Of just like, if there's a year, okay, and I've been like the guy on the Sunday Night Football set, like literally almost every year that's been like, Chiefs versus the field, I'm taking the Chiefs. And Tony Dungy's called me crazy on TV, and Rodney Harrison's called me crazy on TV.
For reasons unrelated.
But unrelated. But I also get them calling me that, and I understand it.
Yeah.
But having been with the Chiefs so many times the last few years, you could tell their chase for greatness every year, right? You could just feel it when you walked in. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, this is just another game here. It's like, no, they had we're going to win this game because we got our eyes on a prize down the road, and we're holding ourselves to that standard. My football gut and intuition wants to say this is a letdown year for the Chiefs. That's what I want to say. It just feels like it. Yes, how long can you go deep into the playoffs, go to Super Bowls? You've won 2 Super Bowls. Now you lose one kind of in a crushing way. I know they're going to rebound. I'm not saying they're not going to go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I think if you had to ask me right now and I sat here, I'd go, I feel like this is a Chiefs or a wild card type of team this year. They're not necessarily. I think the AFC West is going to be real, and that's going to be a different struggle than they've had in years past between Denver and the Chargers especially, and I think the Raiders will be more competitive.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I had to read the crystal ball and just being around football my whole life, like I called the 49ers last year, did I not? I told you, I was like, I do not expect the 49ers to climb back up the mountain. I could feel it, things they said in the press, whatever else. And I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be hard to replicate it again with the Chiefs here.
They got to do some things differently. The offense has got to find an extra gear. Got to get healthy there. That will certainly help. But here's one of the narratives out there, and whether we want to bust it with the Chiefs or not.
Right.
The Chiefs are bringing back the deep ball. So Patrick Mahomes said last week, quote, the mindset is getting back to throwing the ball down the field, and if we can do that, it'll open up the rest of the offense.
Yes.
So this seems to be something that is recurring every offseason now with the Chiefs a little bit.
They've been trying to find the magic they had with Mahomes and Tyreek Hill ever since Tyreek Hill left, right?
Yeah.
Now, they still made it happen with other magic, and Mahomes has been surgical and became that kind of player, let alone being arguably the clutchest guy we've ever seen in football, right up there with Brady and some of the greats. So that's where, it's amazing that way. But also, the down the field thing, last year, that's all they could talk about in training camp. I know this is really the 3rd training camp in a row. 2 years ago, I would have been like, I didn't really expect much because it was like young guys. There was Rashee Rice, and you're like, I don't know what to really expect. They're saying it, whatever. Last year, I really felt like, no, it's a possibility, right? They had Hollywood Brown, they drafted Xavier Worthy, and Rashee Rice was going to year 2, and you were like, watch out for this crew. Holy crap, right? Rashee Rice gets hurt. Hollywood Brown got hurt in the first play of preseason. They never got to really get into a flow that way. They had to break Xavier Worthy in, and it took him a while to become a deep threat to what we saw later in the year and in the Super Bowl and all that. But I do think there's a real effort here to do this. And I think Mahomes wants to play that way. I don't think Mahomes loves being Mr. Surgical and do that. It's part of some of the quarterback rankings we talked about. There was games I watched where I went, hey, like, I know he's the man, but there's some moments here where he doesn't play quarterback the way he should. One, maybe because he knows his defense is good and he's playing that style. But 2, he's getting frustrated because he wants to make a big play. He's sick of like the 5-yard completion, the 6-yard completion. He wants to make plays. I know that by being around him enough. And yeah, I will say I'd be shocked if they don't push the ball down the field more this year. I will be shocked. And I think added to that, and what we have to forget or remember here, is the offensive line's played an issue in their ability to push the ball down the field the last few years too, right? I want to throw the ball deep. Well, when Mahomes has to duck after 2 seconds, it's hard to throw the ball deep with those 2 tackles he's had, right? Now that they got that Josh Simmons, and you hear some of those reports from him coming out of Kansas City right now and how everybody's so impressed, man, that's another thing that leads me to believe, Andy could get this O-line right, and if that guy can protect the left tackle, then maybe you do have the time to get Xavier Worthy and Hollywood and Rasheed Rice down the field on a more regular basis.
Yeah, with your communications with Patrick, they were super excited to get him at the end of the first round, showing up that offensive line.
Exactly right.
Well, I am curious about that, though, because you alluded to your ranking, and part of the reason why you had him lower, you had him 4th for the first time in the history of ever in your quarterback count.
It hurt me.
We actually, I think Pete and Kristen have found video of him reacting to you. So this is right after you released it. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that 4? He's like, what's going on here? So he put on his helmet and jersey and everything, went out on a field just to rub it in your face.
Yes.
That actually was the game that he had 4 touchdowns versus the Ravens.
Yeah.
But I am curious, is your relationship over with Patrick Mahomes now after you ranked him 4th in your quarterback count?
I hope not. I know we talked about it and laughed at the time, and my son, when he saw my rankings on the kitchen table and all that, he's like, "You can't put Patrick Mahomes number 4. He'll never talk to you ever again." Yeah. Right? So I'm hoping that's not the case.
Okay.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I think he knows how big of a fan I am of him, how awesome I think he is of a player. I tell him in person. I say it on the mic. I've said it to his family. I say it to everybody. So I think he knows where I'm coming from. And I think with the man that Patrick Mahomes is, I think he's the type of guy that could listen to what I said and go, he's not wrong about all the things he said right there.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where I love Mahomes, because Mahomes is he's mental tough. He takes all that crap, and he might use it against. He'd probably see me and give me the middle finger.
Yeah, probably.
Something, and then laugh.
Immediately.
I hope, at least.
You have loved Patrick Mahomes' game for a long time. Matthew Stafford as well. He has held up very well for being the Lions quarterback and getting beat up for all those years. Had some injuries recently, but he is a little dinged up right now. The narrative out there, though, is that Matthew Stafford being out of training camp is no concern. I want to know if you're going to bust that or not. But here, let's listen to Sean McVay talking about his status.
I don't have any reason to be concerned based on the information that's been given. And with that being said, I don't think we can be smart enough with somebody like Matthew. And I think it's best for him, best for our football team. And, and that's kind of the plan that we'll have moving forward. And so I know that will surprise people. But I did want to at least let you guys know as we're kind of, being fluid with this. But I don't have any reason for concern. But I do think it's the smart thing just based on September 7th or whenever the date of our opener is, with that being the main goal in mind for us.
So it is ongoing back soreness for Stafford.
Yep.
They have shifted to a week-to-week evaluation approach. So he's not day-to-day, he's week-to-week, and that's not great.
Yep.
Is it no concern, or is there some concern here for you?
It's funny. It's like, I'm actually no concern, or little concern.
Sure.
Okay, just a little bit, right? But all in all, first off, the player, you have to take that into account. Yeah. And this is the ultimate soldier.
Yeah.
And he is at an age where, they're going to be more safe than aggressive in this type of moment. Lower back, as you know, is tricky. I damn sure know, because I've had my lower back issues just since knowing you here the last few years, right? I mean, it's debilitating as far as what you do. And the other thing there, you have to be careful as a quarterback with back issues. Well, throwing the ball, like we talk about, the torque of the upper and lower body, right? That's what can stress the back out. So if you got little issues in your lower back and you're twisting, trying to throw 40-yard lasers to Puka Nacua 50 times a day, that's not going to help it out. Let alone running a play where Kyron Williams is on an outside zone and you got to stretch out and do that. So they're being more safe and careful. That's where we're going to be. And it is Matthew Stafford, who is tough as hell. And I feel like he's the kind of guy that, he's got a broken shoulder, but we didn't tell you he's been playing for 7 weeks with a broken shoulder. That's who he is. They're smart out there. I'm not really concerned by it. I expect the Rams to be awesome, and I think that's why they're being safe. They know they have a Super Bowl team, and they're not going to risk that all up right now in the end of July.
And also part of the reason, too, why there's a little iffiness, whether he was – I'm sure that is the thought process for this team. It's just he's held up. last couple of years. But he's getting older. He's taking a lot of hits.
Definitely.
He's had back issues
He
in the past.
doesn't need to practice for 6 weeks straight in training camp. He's got enough reps. You know, you get to a certain point here. He just needs to be out there. And if he gets a few weeks at the end of training camp, and you won't even know that he missed time. Yeah. You know, these are guys that have played too much. They got too many reps under the belt. He'll be absolutely fine there.
So one more veteran quarterback to talk about in Bust the Narrative. So a narrative out there from some people is that Kirk Cousins as a backup can only help the Falcons.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with that narrative.
You agree with that?
I do.
You support that narrative?
I mean, I think what people sometimes look at and they go, well, is it a hindrance to Michael Penix and the fact that he's looking over his shoulder?
In fairness to those people, I have heard you talk about that sometimes with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Definitely.
There, you got to get rid of him. You know, it's just if you have two quarterbacks, you got none.
Yes, there's some of that for sure, and there is something. We've talked about it a lot, right? We've seen a lot of times where we got really good quarterbacks and we go, wow, they're going to keep him as the backup. Some teams don't want that threat as the backup here, but I think they're so all in on Michael Penix and they believe in him and his physical attributes and what he does and the potential he brings forward to the Falcons. That I think Michael Penix feels that. I know I feel that talking to people in Atlanta and all of that, to where he should feel comfortable. It's 1 year with Kirk Cousins and that's it. If he doesn't get traded, maybe if something happens to somebody else in the NFL here. Yeah,
it's clear their feelings on Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins.
Exactly right. Yeah. But I mean, I wouldn't trade him for just anything. They've accounted for it. It's not that big of a deal. So if you got a big year like this, big year for Raheem Morris, the Falcons, everything, they think they've got their team set up in a way to where they're a playoff football team. Do you want to just trade Kirk Cousins just to trade him? And get him off the books for a mid-round pick maybe or something like that, and then sacrifice Michael Penix got hurt, he missed 4 or 5 weeks, and now you go 1-4 through that break and don't make the playoffs? That's where I don't think it's a big deal to have him as a backup, and the backup matters sometimes too. Yeah. Kirk Cousins is not going to be the type of guy that's going to be annoying or chirping in the locker room that he should be the starter or any of that. He'll be the ultimate team player that way, and I think he'll help Michael Penix out. And that's why I don't think it's such a bad thing.
I have not seen any new episodes of The Quarterback on Netflix. I know you have. You're deep in
I don't love it.
Have you finished the whole thing? Are you through it?
I think I'm on episode 5.
Okay. Right? All right. So no spoilers. Yeah. But with that in mind,
it's unique.
Your thoughts on what you've seen in that show?
It's unique. It's Joe Burrow's a different character, right? And he's funny. And how he approaches life, business, day-to-day, everything like that. But he's got an edge and an ability to lead that is noticeable. And there's an edge about him, right, that he brings to their football team and all of that. Jared Goff, man, the city loves him, all of that. That's great too, right? He fits Detroit. He's tough. He's humble, all of that.
Does he have an edge?
Not really.
Oh.
And what I would tell you is just people like me and people in the NFL and all that, they would, I don't know if that kind of guy can win a Super Bowl always. I'm just telling you those are thoughts. Those are things that have come through my head. They definitely have. Kirk Cousins, same type of thing. I don't think it's looked great on Kirk Cousins. I don't think it's looked great on him. By the way of how he maybe handles himself sometimes. Too much stuff going on during football season. I just know living with my dad or myself or being friends with other great quarterbacks in football, they're not coaching their son's 7-on-7 flag football teams during the season, right? They're not worried about doing bits somewhere with their family so the camera crew can be there, right? Game day, his brothers and friends come out in costumes on the field and pregame.
What kind of costumes?
I don't even know what they were. They were being silly gym guys. And it just is to me is that's not, that wouldn't go down in certain organizations.
There's too much non-football going on in the life of Kirk Cousins, you feel like.
Thank you. That's the way to say it.
Okay.
I watched that episode right there and looked over, and my dad was at the house, and he hadn't watched much yet. And I was like, I kind of was like, I can't even believe this. I was like, I don't know if he could be my quarterback, actually. That's what I said on my team if I was a GM. And my son looked at me and he's like, you're such a hater, Dad. And I was like, first of all, it was one of those times where I'm going to be like, son, shut the up. You don't know what you're talking about. You're 14. But I didn't say anything. And I just looked over. I said, man. I looked over at both Phillips, my dad, and I was just like, I don't think Papa would have been the quarterback of the Giants if his brothers were coming out in the field pregame dressed in silly costumes and Bill Parcells would be like, yeah, Phil, go over there and ham it up with them. Like, that would never go down. You think Brady or Belichick, that would go down? You think Peyton Manning would do that? Absolutely not. Would Patrick Mahomes do it? No. Yeah. Would Josh Allen do it? So that's where I don't love that. Maybe I'm looking too deep into it.
Yeah.
But those are the little psychological things I look at as far as quarterback and quarterbacks that can lead you to a Super Bowl.
Well, it's tough. And when you don't play that well, you bring that stuff upon yourself. It's really hard. I have sympathy for professional athletes because it's almost like if you're playing poorly, you still have a life outside of football, but the fan and everyone that's watching is just like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Baseball, it happened all the time when I was out in San Francisco. We would have a fun story planned with a player like playing ping pong, and if that guy was in a slump hitting 180 for 2 weeks, that story is canceled.
Right.
Because the optics of it just look too bad, even though he's probably still playing ping pong now, but we're not documenting it on TV just because it's I get it.
I know.
You got to play that game sometimes,
We'll dive later. I know we're going to take a little break here and all that, too, and we're going to hit the Lions again here in a few minutes, too, because I would like to break into that conversation a little bit more with the Jared Goff offense, maybe some thoughts of you that I want to ask you about a little bit. All right, so let's do that because I think there's some stuff to unpack there, too.
Did you just take my job and tease to break?
I didn't mean to.
New studio, new desk. New host. All right, we're going to talk about some of the biggest training camp mysteries and what Chris wants to talk about with my Detroit Lions. That is all coming up next. NBC Sports Now is our free 24/7 streaming channel. You can get NFL news, all the biggest stories in sports starting at 7 a.m., PFT Live, The Dan Patrick Show. Then you got The Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gotts, Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry, and Chris Simms Unbuttoned. This very show, all you got to do is go to NBCSports.com/now, and you can stream that for free.
Damn, man, yeah. See this? I mean, we by far have the coolest set here out of any of those shows.
Of all of those.
They can't mess with this.
The Dan Le Batard, that's a pretty cool set.
It is a pretty cool one. You're right. All right. Thanks for, you had to
I'm just giving him, I'm just trying to think about the statement you made here. Who are the Dan Patrick, not bad either. Matthew Berry with those helmets.
They're all pretty good.
We're catching up, though.
We are.
Is what we were doing. All right, so make sure to check that out. Right now, we're going to check out some of the training camp mysteries, and so diving into some of the bigger storylines that are out there. We'll get to the Lions like you so eloquently teased in the last segment, but let's start with the Cleveland Browns because they got an interesting story going on at quarterback for them. And so as that's going to be, some of these are, we're going to have to take the whole training camp to figure it out, but as we sit here right now, the question of who will win the Browns quarterback competition is still an open question. Kenny Pickett just recently got a hamstring injury there. Shedeur Sanders gave a press conference. He is not taking reps with the first team right now, and he was asked about
lack of reps.
He's getting lack of reps there, and he was asked about that, which, by the way, I don't know if he's AI or something, but every answer he gives at a press conference, it's like the perfect answer.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's amazing.
Oh, his dad was pretty damn good at answering things too, right?
Good point.
I mean, quick-witted. They know what their beliefs are, how they want to attack certain things, and they're not afraid of the mic. And I think they are guys that love football. I do think that too. So within that, they know like what should be said, why the locker room needs to hear me say it this way, so I can get the guys to follow and be a good leader that way. And that's where I do respect Shedeur Sanders in a big way. But this quarterback situation is very odd. Well, it felt like Kenny Pickett was in the leader house. That's what it felt like. And I still feel that way as well, but I am interested to see how long this injury lingers. I don't give a damn if you're in the leader house or not. If you miss like 2 straight weeks without being able to practice because of the hamstring, you will not be in the leader house anymore after that. I have a hard time in my mind thinking that they are going to get rid of either of the young quarterbacks. Do I think there's a possibility that they keep all 4 on the roster? Yeah, I do. Could I see if Kenny Pickett got back here quickly? Could they go, hey, yeah, Kenny Pickett's the starter. We're going to keep the 2 young guys because they're good future assets for our organization. Gabriel, hey, they liked him, obviously. That's why they drafted him in the 3rd round. Shedeur Sanders, there's potential there. I don't think you can just get rid of him and go like, oh, well, he was just a 6th-round pick for us, so we're going to cut him. No. I think there's certainly more talent that way. Yeah. So when I look at it, I don't think 4 is crazy. They are the Browns, even though that's crazy for modern-day NFL. This is a unique situation.
What do you sacrifice if you keep 4? I mean, you definitely sacrifice somewhere else.
Yeah, you're going to sacrifice, you're right, whether that's the 6th receiver on the roster or an extra offensive lineman, right? Maybe you want to keep 10, 11 offensive linemen. Maybe now you got to keep 9, something like that. Yeah. That's there's going to be something. There's going to sacrifice to be made.
As the year goes on, as my Detroit Lions proved, like the injuries stack up. There are no luxury. It's like, oh, it's nice to have this. And it's like, no, you have.
In my heart of hearts,
bodies.
it feels like I would think they would have gone Kenny Pickett, take it over. You're young. There's potential there. Maybe there's something in the future there. We keep the 2 young rookie guys, and Joe Flacco goes somewhere, and they trade him as a backup or something like that. That's what it felt like it was going in my eyes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And this injury definitely threw a little bit of a curveball into the situation and where it goes. But, yeah, I think the rookies are safe. And I don't think they're going to be able to, like, stash them on the practice squad or do anything like that. If I'm a GM and I'm going, wait, I got a good quarterback, and, I got a decent backup, but his contract's up after next year, and they stash Shedeur Sanders on the practice squad. Yeah, I mean, I'm stealing him. Period. Like you're not getting him. And Dylan Gabriel, I think, has got enough fans out there too that he'd get stolen as well. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But I do think Pickett's health and how quickly he can get back on the field and back to full strength will have some say in this matter.
So not only is Kenny Pickett hurt right now, but there's a member of the social media team for the Cleveland Browns who also could have an injury. I don't know if you saw this video.
Oh, yeah.
Over the weekend. They were doing some sort of a photo shoot. It was a Browns helmet unveiling. And so, Kristen, do we have that video back there or not? Hold on. We're
well, I mean,
it's
here. Like, first off, it's the Browns helmet, okay? Yes. Sponsored by Dude Wipes.
Yeah.
So that wasn't the best combination.
Yeah.
You got to think somebody in the corporate office would have caught that and been like, are we sure we want to use Dude Wipes for unveiling our brown helmets? Okay. I don't know. Maybe that was the ploy.
That is the whole plan.
Right.
You ever used Dude Wipes? Have you ever used anything like that? I don't want to knock.
I mean, I have used baby wipes before. Yeah, of course I have.
Here it is. He goes, like, one leg just goes. Now, do you think that was set up?
So this is like, Pete brought this to my attention, and I did not really realize this. Now, one, I just thought, it's the Browns being the Browns, and of course they messed it up. But the way, now that I've watched it a few times a little bit, I do go, no, that kind of looks intentional, right? I mean, I think that looked intentional. The reaction of the guys and the dog on the boat and all of the mascots, that to me also looks like it's a little staged. Yeah. And the fact that they kept my point of view on there from the guy that fell in the water, and then I find out that he's a famous social media influencer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's Fugazi.
Oh, it is.
It's
the whole
Fugazi.
thing, it's been proven.
Right. Now, why the Browns would want to play into the fact of the Browns being the Browns and they can't even unveil a helmet the right way, why they would want to play into that narrative, I don't know. But maybe it got them more attention there either way. I do like the helmet.
You do like the helmet.
I do.
I was going to say that it's a little
brown.
Yeah, it's a little brown, a little bland.
Their helmets are bland.
Great point.
Right.
Yeah, right. Great point.
Florio brought up the point today, and he brought it up, and I laughed because this went through my head as a kid too. Like, the Browns are the Browns, but their helmets are orange. And it's like, I remember as a young kid always going, why? I don't understand why their helmets are orange.
That's a good point.
But this should look good, I think,
That's a great point, because I was looking at all the jerseys. We're at Big Ten Media Day in Las Vegas, and they have all the uniforms there. And UCLA's pants are brown, one of the combinations of uniform for them. And I was like, you know what? That's an underutilized color. I do believe, like, brown in football could be used a little bit more.
It works.
The Browns should do that, right?
Do.
There's a lane there to do, but no, they have not done that. They're just partnering with Dude Wipes and falling into the water there. All right, so we move on from the Browns to some of their competition, which includes the Steelers, perhaps. They have a new quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, and so a mystery there, of course. Maybe the top mystery in all of football, or the curiosity, is how that's going to work with Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be better than what it's been. They haven't had a quarterback like this in their organization in a while, right? I know they've had franchise quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger is the man, right? And you know me, I'm a fan of Big Ben. I think he's one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the history of football. Mm-hmm. But he wasn't Mr. detail, give me 90 checks. I'm Peyton Manning. I'm going to do this. Right? I mean, he's the guy that I go, hey, show me how to grip the football. And he's like, I don't even know how I grip a football. I just go out there and throw spirals and bombs for touchdowns, right? That's what you love about him. He was a guy that, I think a little bit was like, hey, don't complicate things. Let me just play football and I'll figure it out, right? I don't need 9 million checks. Watch this, watch that, watch that. I'll be in that pocket. I'm Big Ben. I'll pat that ball, do that. But Aaron Rodgers, as we know, is like a sheriff, right? He's going to be behind the scenes on every little detail there is possible. He was like that with the Jets. It blew the Jets away when he first got there. I know that from talking to people all over the organization. They were like, we've never seen anything like this, right? So that's gonna uplift their football team, let alone what they've had at quarterback the last few years, post Ben Roethlisberger. Nobody's been as talented as him. And like we talked about in the quarterback rankings, he can still throw the ball. He can. Now, will he stand in the pocket and throw the ball down the field? And that's where I hope Mike Tomlin can kind of poke the bear a little bit and make him better in that department, because their O-line looks like it's set up to be pretty damn good. They should be able to protect them. They should be able to run the ball. You got DK Metcalf. You got Freiermuth. You got some guys to push the ball down the football field. And you've heard me say 9 million times over the last 2 and 3 years. It's hard right now in the NFL to be the dink and dunk team and go and win the Super Bowl. It's just hard. It really is. You better have something really special about the rest of your team to make up for that, right? We talk about turnovers, explosive plays, the 2 biggest factors in winning football games. I think this is the year that the Steelers can win a playoff game. I do. And I think there's desperation and a fire in the organization, one doing things a little different way. And I think Mike Tomlin realizes it. And I think he's probably like, damn, we got to get in there and win a damn playoff game. I know how he operates. I think it's going to be more positive than bad there with Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh.
It could be a huge turning point. For the first time in a long time, Chris Simms may want to see the Pittsburgh Steelers in
exactly
the playoffs.
Right. Yeah. Exactly right. It's the first year I might go, you know what, then let's watch them win the game, because Rodgers in the divisional playoff game against Mahomes or Lamar Jackson or whatever will be awesome to watch.
And you have nothing against it. Mike Tomlin, you like a lot of the players, the coaches. They were just too boring for you.
Too boring. Well, they got to a point where the coaching and the physicality and the managing of the game was the reason they were in the playoffs, rather than maybe the team playing high-level, awesome football with a lot of good players, right? That's what it felt like. Yeah. And those are the teams that they don't succeed in the NFL, and that's why I didn't want to see them. But no, I think I do want to see them this year.
The Lions were a Super Bowl favorite last year. They sadly did not win, to the chagrin of almost everyone in this country and around the world. But they have a chance again this year.
Yeah.
They're going to have to do it, though, with 2 new coordinators, offensively and defensively, now new head coaches out there. So you teased this before we went to break here,
right.
But it is the brain drain of the Detroit Lions. The team mostly intact. You got the guys, the band back together. Aiden's all healed up on the defensive side.
Right.
But now you got 2 new coordinators on both sides of the ball. Big mystery how that's all going to play out for the Detroit Lions.
Like, for my money, this is one of the biggest training camp, preseason, into the season storylines in the NFL. This is, a team that is really awesome. I mean, you guys don't really have much weakness other than we need to defend maybe one more pass rusher, right? That's what we've said for 2-3 years here.
Yeah.
So that's about all you can look at. Okay? And then you take into account here that the play caller, without question, Ben Johnson, who's now the head coach of the Bears, he's special. I don't know what he's going to be as a head coach. I don't know. We'll see. I know he's got to prove that and all that. But I don't care who you talk to in football. It doesn't matter who you talk to. If you I talk to a defensive coach or another offensive coach that I like or whatever, Ben Johnson's name gets thrown out there immediately. It's always one of the first 2 names out of somebody's mouth. He's too creative. He's got an unbelievable way of game planning, and then, like we always talk about, sequencing, setting things up, how you call the plays. It's an art form, and that's where he's great. John Morton, he's got a tremendous history, track record. Was Sean Payton. He's been in a lot of successful places. I know his offense is good, but it's how good, right? That's going to be the big thing. How good. Ben Johnson, he took the will of teams away with how good your offense were. You went through a number of games the last few years where we kind of got late in the second quarter and we were like, This game's over, right? Like the Lions are putting it on them. Like I know this team's still got a chance. I get it. It's the NFL. But the Lions are having their way up and down the field. And it's allowing now their defense to play a certain style because they can always depend on their offense to move up and down the field, right?
They're running on 3rd and 8 and getting the first.
Exactly right.
They're done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where that was special. So I say that, and I brought this up because I also want to even talk about the Ravens real quickly right after this. And I know it's a little bit of a curveball here to what we got in the rundown.
But
I think we're capable.
Yeah.
Is I look at this, and I want to pose this to you. Those questions. No Aaron Glenn, right? You lost a ton of assistant coaches too. But the offense is what we're talking about here. I just look at it, huge year, team that easily could have been in the Super Bowl the last 2 years, the championship game loss that we've had a lot of fun talking about. Last year, the injuries and just not playing their best football. It's a big year. The NFL. The NFL, the shelf life of these teams is usually 3 or 4 years. That's about it. You got to win a Super Bowl to make the shelf life of that team 5 or 6 or 7 years, right? That's basically how it is. We're getting there. Jared Goff, in my opinion, who's done amazing, he's also been on the honeymoon, right? He can't do any wrong. I do think this is a year where, as awesome as he is and as good, we're going to look at Detroit and go, wait, are they the same with these new coaches? I know Dan Campbell's the man. He's got a lot of things in place culture-wise that are still going to make them successful, but you lose 2 good damn coaches.
Yeah.
And, your quarterback has been awesome for the franchise. But I just would say there's been some other quarterbacks who maybe have been held to a standard that's a little more egregious by the media. Like if you're a little off target on a throw in 4th and 2 in San Francisco that could put the game away, right? And I know you're like,
don't
oh my
you
gosh,
dare do
right?
this to my guy.
No. But I think there's other high level quarterbacks where they would, Josh Allen, if he missed that throw like that, where like the receiver had a dive and he should have caught it, but it should have been a better throw. I think people would be like, Josh Allen can't come through in the clutch, right? Yeah. Right? Jared Goff, I think because expectations were low, has gotten a little bit of a honeymoon. But then you get into the divisional game last year, and he had maybe his worst game as a Lion, right? I mean, one of them. And to do that, so I'm just saying that's a big year. I think it's the first year there's going to be a little spotlight on Jared Goff as a Lion, right? To go, wait, can he take us to the next level? Or are we just going to be a really good NFC team all the time, right? Okay. And I'm not trying to be a jerk. I know you probably try to think I am a little bit, which I probably am because I do that naturally. But between John Morton, the Ben Johnson thing, the way their team is, 2 years in a row going, we're a Super Bowl team. We should have been the Super Bowl, not getting there, the psychology of all that. I think there are things to watch at as we go here forward.
I mean, these are things that the Lions fans are thinking as well.
Yeah, I figured they were.
Let me respond to that Jared Goff hate, because I think you're right. He does get a little, I
don't mean to be a hater either.
No, it's like the Detroit fan base has embraced him and booed Stafford and cheered Jared Goff. But I will say that, Jared, he gets it on both sides because Jared Goff's leading a great offense. And was he in the MVP discussion? So no. So he's not getting the highs. He might not be getting the lows when he doesn't perform as well. But I think that's a function of him not being seen as like this all-world quarterback, an MVP-type quarterback.
I hear you.
What I will say about losing all the coaches, and we saw the assistant coaches that have gone too, the only positive that I could see with that maybe is I think they've replaced him with some really good coaches, I think offensively and defensively. And also
Dan knows coaches and men.
And Dan's great, and Dan's still there. But I think that the players that remain, it's almost they can take more ownership, right? It's just like, hey guys, this truly is our team. We've been here through this whole thing, and so hopefully maybe the Lions can do a little bit of that. I am interested to hear what you wanted to say about the Ravens, though, because not too dissimilar. The Ravens have, of course, been in the conversation much longer.
Yeah, you're right.
But a team that has not gotten to the top of the mountain.
Not gotten there. I mean, I don't like. This is no disrespect to the Chiefs the last 2 years. You know this. We've gone in the playoffs the last 2 years, and I, without question, have gone the Ravens are the best team in the AFC. Like, don't even think twice about it. Ravens are the best team. I watched that when I was doing my quarterback rankings, I watched that damn Buffalo Ravens game again, and I just went, I don't know. Buffalo never stopped the Ravens all day. All they did is whatever they wanted. The Ravens just messed it up. A little bit like they did in the AFC Championship game the year before against the Kansas City Chiefs. I look at it for a lot of the same reasons you're saying. I know they didn't lose the coordinators, but like the Lions did. Mm-hmm. But again, we're at a place here at the end of the shelf life of this football team where I do think you're like, this is it. They should have been to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. They didn't get there. They have nobody to blame but themselves, really, in a lot of ways here. And I just look at it and go, yeah, Lamar Jackson, yeah, my number one quarterback. He's missing that marquee playoff game on his resume. He had not been to a Super Bowl. They got some contracts that are going to come home to roost after the year and stuff like that, to where you go, I know that the Ravens are a well-built organization, but this could be one of those, if they don't get to the Super Bowl and make it happen, they might have to go, hey, we got to sacrifice this guy. This guy's got to leave in free agency. We got to start retooling for the future a little bit to make another run at this 2 or 3 years from now, right? Because they're in the window. We know that because of Lamar Jackson. But I look at the Ravens, and as I sit here with everybody on July 28th, yeah, am I thinking about putting the Ravens in the Super Bowl for our preseason picks and all that? Of course. The Ravens are no doubt one of the best teams in football. And I just look at that as being, they're kind of flying under the radar. To me, as like, I look at the team as being more one of the most under pressure teams in all of NFL. I guess that's what
you think they have a little bit of like the Last Dance kind of
just a little bit with this group
year.
Here. Exactly right. Exactly. If they don't come through this year, they're going to go, this team just can't get there. We're going to have to make some changes across the roster, right? I mean, and we know it's not Lamar or Zay Flowers or any of that. Like, they're there. But, yeah, you might start to see some other guys that have been staples in that organization for a while start to go, you know what? We can't keep Ronnie Stanley anymore. Yeah. We can't keep Marlon Humphrey anymore. We got to do this. We got to start thinking of the future, right? And that's what I'm kind of trying to articulate here.
Rebuild around Lamar Jackson, exactly again, one of the most dynamic players in all of the NFL, as is Travis Hunter, or will be, depending on how much he plays on both sides of the ball. And that's another one of the big mysteries, and I don't know if we are any closer to learning what their plan is with him on both sides of the ball, but what do you think?
All I know, like, I haven't talked to anybody specifically down there as of late. I know that they're happy with him. I know that from what I read and see, like, they think he can do both. I just want to know how much, right? I think it's one of the cool stories here, but there's no inside info I have. There's nothing there. It's just like, we've never seen anything like this. I'm interested to see how they kind of plan this out in the preseason, because at some point they got to test it out. They can't just go and go, well, we played 10 offensive snaps in preseason game 1. He played 10 defensive snaps in preseason game number 2. And then preseason game 3, he played 5 on defense and 5 on. At some point, they're going to have to go, wait, we need to see if he can play like 20 snaps in a row on offense and then come back and play a 12-play drive on defense at DB, right? And I want to see how they go about kind of formulating that plan and what he looks like. I'm going to be interested to see, right? Like, oh, he played 5 snaps on offense. He played a long drive on defense at DB. Now I want to watch him back at receiver. Does he have the same explosive ability? Are the legs a little rubbery and tired, right? That's what's going to be interesting to see here with this extremely talented kid in Travis Hunter.
I love that we're going to be able to find out, because I think you need that every once in a while, right?
Yeah.
To challenge what we think is possible. Like the Shohei Ohtani is just like, well, you can't pitch and you just can't do both. And then he comes and he does both.
Yes.
I think it'd be super cool if he was able to pull this off somehow. Here is Travis Hunter. Pete has just surfaced this. Well done back there, guys. Snaps through the 4 Jaguars camp practices. So 83 snaps, 36 on offense, 47 on defense. So when they went 7 on 7, there were 18 total. He went 11 on offense, 7 on defense.
These are great.
And then 11 on 11, 65 snaps. That's 25 on offense, 40 on defense. So full 11 on 11, more on the defensive side.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, these are the things that are going to get them a feel too. This is why they're doing it, because you got to see. You can't have him go play on defense 20 snaps in a row, and then he comes over a receiver and he runs 4.9 all of a sudden, right? And you go, damn, we had all these plays dial up for him because we thought he was going to run by this guy and we were going to get big explosive plays, but damn, he's exhausted because he just covered Michael Pittman Jr. for 30 snaps in a row, man-to-man, right? And that's what they got to figure out. I know he's going to be able to do it, but to what capacity is going to be the most interesting thing.
A lot of eyes on Travis Hunter, a lot of eyes on the second-year quarterbacks. And so let's look at 3 of them here and just kind of your gut, your feeling as we head into camp here, how they're set up, what they're going to look like. Let's start with Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson over there now. There's been a lot of chatter in the offseason with, his body language, what Ben wants to see a little bit more from him. What's your vibe check on Caleb?
My vibe check is that I would just be shocked if it doesn't get a lot better. I mean, one, my belief in the coach, the talent on the team is there, and the talent for the quarterback is there, and his work ethic and love of the game's there. I don't really see negatives. There's still haters in the Caleb Williams Williams world out there. I know that. And what bothers me about that whole conversation is a lot of the hate around Caleb Williams is around his difference as a guy. He painted his nails. His phone was pink. Oh, no. Yeah. Like that. So there's like an old establishment in the NFL that's just can't get over that, right? And I want to be like, get over that. I can give you some other instances of great quarterbacks doing crazy shit. Like,
and it was rose gold, too. It's not pink. It's rose gold. I don't know if that's true or not, but I know it's a color out there of a phone.
But either way, yeah. Like all three of these quarterbacks we're going to talk about here, Caleb Williams, Drake May, and J.J. McCarthy, I will be shocked. They will exceed expectations this year. I mean, Shamrock's up their ass in the football world and the fact of
people around them.
Exactly. The coaches they got around them. Exactly.
So Josh McDaniels, now your guy with Drake May. You think he'll take another step?
I do.
Because he impressed you more than you thought he was going to last year.
100%. And this not only the Josh McDaniel effect, which I know is going to work, but like Mike Vrabel on top of that's going to help it out too. He's going to be like, hey, no, we're going to manage the game this way. And no, we're not going to put Drake in that position, right, Josh? And they'll do everything the right way for the football team and continue for him to go in an upward direction like we saw. So, yeah, they're sitting pretty where Caleb and Drake May got like the gift of all gifts by two of the better offensive minds in football coming in there who know quarterback play, how to teach you, how to lead, how to do everything right. And that's where I'm pumped for those two.
I mean, Kevin O'Connell with the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, J.J. McCarthy more of a wild card just because we saw none of him last year.
Right.
But what do you think?
I think it's going to be good, too. I'd be shocked if it wasn't. One, I'm a believer in J.J. McCarthy. You've heard me say this before. The person, the love of football, the charisma he has as a starting quarterback, all that. He's got everything you want to be the franchise guy. His arm is big time. We've talked about his skill set fitting that offense. I don't expect it to be perfect right away. I know he's a young, but the support around him with that guy calling plays in O'Connell, I just would be shocked. Well, I would be shocked if it doesn't work out. I expect here with J.J. McCarthy, and he's so far gotten rave reviews up there in Minnesota. I would be shocked or wouldn't be shocked if we got to like week 7 or 8 and we're sitting there going, man, JJ's had a few games here where it's like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns and interceptions like and one interception every week, right? Like he's balling. I think that, again, O'Connell, just like we talked about with McDaniels and Ben Johnson, they just know how to coach. They know how to get guys open. They know nuance and play calling, how to string those plays together. And they're very conscious of not putting their quarterbacks in bad positions. And I just think it's all going to be positive, let alone I think all three of them got a team around them. Yeah. And that's going to be the positive thing. I mean, this class. Because let me just tell you, because Sean Payton and the Bo Nix and all that, they're chomping at the bits out there too. They think they're going to be damn good. And we already know Jaden Daniels is the man. Yeah. So it's just incredible, this class, because they really do have it all.
What a gift that quarterback class is, because they are so compelling, and each of those stories and the teams are compelling too. And you had J.J. McCarthy 5 ahead of Drake May. And I've said this a couple times. Like, you got crushed for Drake May. You were lower on him than most people. You had him 6th. He performed better than you thought he would in year number 1. Right. But having said all that, you might have still nailed this ranking, because Caleb might be better than Drake May. Jaden Daniels was awesome last year. Right. Bo Nix looked awesome last year. Michael Penix, we'll see. J.J. McCarthy, we'll see.
I know.
Drake may be very, very good and still be the 6th best quarterback in that class.
It could be possible. You're right. One of these guys has got to be 6, and they could all be good, and somebody's just 6. But it is. And like we've said in the past, too, they're the off-the-field intangibles, to me, all look like NFL starting quarterbacks, and I think that's what I like, let alone they have the talent on the field.
All right, one more mystery is what about the relationship between another hot rod quarterback for Chris Simms and Tua Tagovailoa and his star wide receiver and Tyreek Hill. So some of the comments at the end of last year, this was after the last game, if you remember, Tyreek Hill said, "I'm out, bro. It was great playing here, but at the end of the day, I got to do what's best for my career because I'm too much of a competitor to just be out there." And then Tua said at the start of training camp, "It's not just with me, it's with a lot of the guys. I'm not the only one that heard that." So when you say something like that, referring to Tyreek's comments, you don't just come back from that with, "Hey, my bad." You got to work that relationship up. You got to build everything back up again. Good for Tua, kind of taking a stand there and saying, "Hey, you kind of disrespected me. You disrespected this whole team." You can't just come right back and say, "Oh, sorry about that." Yeah. We all forget about it. So yeah, what do you make of this this relationship between Tua and his star receiver?
I'm interested to see where it goes. I mean, one, we had Tyreek Hill, who's tried to tell me in person how nice Tua was, like, as a player, right?
Yeah.
And, like, you know, at the Super Bowl this year, I don't think he'll have any problem with me sharing. He was sticking up for Tua. Like, man, why are you so low on Tua? I'm telling you, he's
Tyreek
nice.
said this to you.
He was saying this to me. He's nice, bro. I'm telling you, he's nice. That's what he was saying. Like, he's a good
as a
player.
person. He goes, as a person.
But then, I mean, a few weeks later, he puts out a quarterback ranking of the top 5 quarterbacks in football, and of course, Tua's not there.
Yeah.
Right? And this is a guy that's in the past, when he was really seemed like he was on the Tua train, was trying to say he was one of the 2 or 3 best quarterbacks in football, the most accurate quarterback in football, stuff like that, whatever. Okay? So, one, I question the whole Miami team right now. You know that. You know what I've said about them. I mean, they've been obsessed with stars. They've had some bad contracts. I don't know exactly where we're going with this thing altogether. We had Teron Armstead on the podcast, and he was like, man, Tyreek's so smart, Tua might have been sitting next to him. Well, no. After these comments, I can promise you, nope, Tua was not sitting next to him when he put out the top 5. That's for sure. And why I wanted to bring this up to me is just because it's I think, delicate. I think it is delicate. I like Tua and that he's taken a little bit more ownership and leadership here. I'm not sure you have to say all this right now. That's what I would say, right? That's what I would say. I feel like, and I'm just going to give you my 2 cents. I feel like other quarterbacks that I've been friends with that are big time, or myself, not that I was big time, but I was a quarterback. I feel like if I was in that situation there, I'd be like, hey, we love Tua. We've all made mistakes. Tyreek. We love Tyreek. We've all made mistakes. He gets frustrated. He loves the sport, blah, blah, blah. Let Tyreek say these things, right? That's, to me, what you should do. Let Tyreek come back and, hey, I messed up at the end of the season. I shouldn't have said this stuff. I'm the one that needs to go around the locker room and all that. Tua can say these things behind closed door to Tyreek, but I know, do I love that he kind of aired this out? And now and I don't think it was bad intentions. What I don't love about it is I think it's going to become a thing a little bit now.
Because now Tyreek has to come back into the building with his tail between his legs and being like, Tua's right.
And then we got to question whether the relationship is the same. Is it frayed? How's it going to work, right? There's just, again, I'm not saying it's the biggest thing here, but it's something that I put my eye on to go, this could blow up or be a little interesting for us podcast people here in a few weeks if it goes the wrong way.
Yeah.
And I'll be interested to see how Tyreek kind of follows up with it and reacts in the media.
We would hate to see something interesting happening out there with one of the teams. Tua followed up that whole thing with saying, I don't feel it's me talking bad about my teammate, because someone must have questioned that. I'm just trying to hold him accountable because that's what we try to do with everyone on our team. So he's trying to say that, I would say this about anyone, but
the fact that you have to make a comment and say, I'm not talking bad about my teammate, and again, I'm just a little bit more of hold him accountable, but hold him accountable in the locker room.
I get that.
In private, right? Do that. Let Tyreek make the first comments about this subject. Then you could piggyback off of it and go, hey, I'm really proud of Tyreek and what he did and blah, blah, blah. But could I see Tyreek being a little annoyed with how that's thrown out there? Maybe another receiver or DB on the team going, man, that's kind of up to have put it out there like that, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like nobody was talking about that. Now we're all talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, food for thought. We'll see where it goes. But the Dolphins, it's a very interesting year for them.
All right, we got to take another break. When we come back, Madden has come out with their 99 club.
Wow.
The only players who get the 99 rating. We'll reveal those, discuss who got left out when we come back. Madden has released it. You got into the club for these players, the 99 club.
Have we ever had 2 quarterbacks in the same year be a 99?
That's a good question.
I'm a pretty good Madden, aficionado, would they say?
You sure?
I don't remember a year. Maybe back in the days of Brady and Manning, we had some double 99s. Maybe I'm wrong. But then, man, this in recent history, I don't remember 2 being 99s.
And neither one of them being Patrick Mahomes, too. So
does somebody believe in my quarterback rankings?
Well, Patrick can no longer listen to this podcast or play Madden moving forward.
You're funny.
Eliminating the things from
He's
his
probably
life.
like, Madden. I'm going to be so awesome early in the year. They're going to put me in the 99 club in week 7.
They might. Right? They do usually do that. So, yeah, Lamar Jackson, and then you got your guy, Boy Blue, Josh Allen, the quarterbacks, Myles Garrett on the defensive side, Lane Johnson, offensive lineman. So for the Eagles, so we get a little lineman love.
This was amazing, and the fact that Pete sent a tweet out or a text to us on our group text last night about, possibly what will be the 99 club this year.
Yeah.
We didn't know it was being released this morning.
Right.
At least I didn't. I don't think Pete did either. But you sat there. So last night, I sat down for a minute, and I was a little bit like, who would I put in the 99 club for sure this year, right? I was really, really pumped because the first 3 names I wrote down were Lamar, Saquon, and Josh Allen.
There you go.
And I was like, there's no way all 3 of them will be, but they would be 99s on my game. And there they are.
Jamar Chase, also Justin Jefferson. Any that are in the 99 club that you say do not deserve. They're good. Maybe 98, but not up to the level of 99.
I mean, they're hard to argue this group right here. I didn't think Justin Jefferson would be a 99 this year. I would say I thought it would be like a 98 this year. I was like, Justin Jefferson would be a 98. Right?
Talent-wise, is he a 99 in your eyes?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He is. He is a 99 talent. He is. I just wasn't sure with how the year ended last year, and Jamar Chase was clearly the best receiver in football last year, right? Myles Garrett, as awesome as he is, right? What I want to say with Myles Garrett is just like, if he's a 99, then Micah Parsons needs to be a 99 for me.
That.
You know what I mean? Also, what I would say is if Lane Johnson's a 99, then Jordan Mailata would be a 99 too for me.
Okay.
Right? I mean, they were my 2 all-pro tackles when my vote. All right, so those are ones that come to my mind. Let me throw some more out at you that I think are 99s. Jalen Carter, as you know, I think should be a 99. Jalen Carter's the best defensive tackle in football, right? I think Jalen Carter and Dexter Lawrence should both be 99s.
See, now we're starting to get into 99 club inflation.
I guess so.
You're like the teacher that gives out
but damn, they're balling right now. They at least are my type. They are my 9. They would be 99s on my game.
To your point, there's not a drop-off from the guys who are in the 99 club to those players.
Exactly right.
Yes.
To me. And I know Micah was a little banged up last year with the ankle injury, but yeah, I on my team would take Micah over Myles Garrett. But yeah, I look at that, and I guess the last guy I would question was Patrick Surtain.
Yes.
Surtain, I thought, would be like right up there. I thought we might see him on the 99 club. I'm sure he's a 97 or 98, but I think I'd probably make him a 99 as well.
TJ Watt,
I'd probably go 98. Burrow was another one I thought about. I made him 90. I think he'd probably be 98, right around there. But certainly, like, if he was on the 99 club, I wouldn't be like, oh, well, that's just stupid. I mean, damn. I mean, Joe Burrow, the year he had, incredible. But, no, cool. And I don't know. I mean, have we had 7 99s in a year before?
It does seem like a lot.
It seems like more than 3 or 4, I feel like.
Pete sent us the one last year, and it had Derrick Henry on there, who does not get the 99 this year. It had also Travis Kelce on there.
Right.
Who he has taken a step back.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I wonder if they readjusted his ranking during the year last year. They couldn't have stayed a 99.
Yeah, they do change those.
They do change them now.
And then all of a sudden they'll release like a 99 of just some random players too. If you're playing Ultimate Team, I don't know exactly how that works, but there were 5 at this time last year. Who were the 5?
7 is a big
Travis, Patrick Mahomes, Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill. So none of the 99s at the start of last year are 99s at the start of this year.
Quickly, a year can change everything. Yeah. It's the NFL. That's why it's awesome. I mean, you can change teams. You can change as a player in a hurry in 2 or 3 years. We know that. But, yeah, cool to see. I'm interested to see what this new Madden looks like. I'm sure my son has probably paid $100 billion for it online, and it'll be coming to us here soon.
Yeah. And our studio now has risen to the level of 99. How did it feel? So one show under our belt in the new studio. What do you feel?
It actually at first was like a little weird because I'm used to people, like you said, walking around and all that. But every time I look in the monitor and I see our background, amazing. I'm like, damn, we look good. And I'm not wearing this Bucs jersey anymore, but this is the last day. It did look good in this set, though.
It looked good. And this is all real. Like, it almost looks like a green screen behind us. These are actual monitors. This is an actual desk.
Yeah.
Energy drinks are real. So
they're all real.
They're
all real.
No, it feels good.
And we're freaking back, baby.
We're back.
Here we go. Started up. Tomorrow, I'm flying to Canton, Ohio, Cleveland, Hall of Fame game Thursday night.
So we're back, and now we're not back.
We're back, but you're not back on Wednesday because I'm going to do the pod from Canton with Devin McCourty.
Let's
and
go.
I don't know if we get another guy or two in that involved. I might try to get Rodney Harrison's big ass in there and do something a little bit. But, yeah, pumped for it. I'm pumped for football. I'm pumped for being on the field pregame. Chargers-Lions, that's going to be awesome. I mean, those are two teams that we know are special. I think the Chargers, of course, are going to be a playoff team again, let alone your damn Lions are a Super Bowl team. Going to be a good year. Glad to be back at it. Check us out Wednesday, all right, from Canton. That's what we'll be doing. Thursday, excuse me. That's what we'll be doing the podcast, right?
You'll be there Wednesday.
You won't be there.
I won't be there.
All right. Make sure you wear your red pants next week, all right, man?
Okay.
All right. Show up dressed and ready to go. And if you want to wear a Lions jersey, feel free.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Do you have one?
I have a rugby Lions jersey that Pete got me for my birthday a year ago.
We wear football jerseys on this podcast. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
All right, there. All right, everybody, be good. You know where to find us. We'll see you Thursday live from Canton, Ohio. Check us out, all right? And Sunday Night Football on Thursday. First Hall of Fame game, first preseason game, Hall of Fame game. Pump for that. All right, everybody, be good. Peace out. We'll see you Thursday. Clap it up.
I was like, new studio. We got to clap it up.
Yo, homies, what's up? Thanks for watching Chris Simms Unbuttoned. And just because the weather's warm doesn't mean football ain't still on our brains right here.
We are still working, so smash that subscribe button. We got all the training camp news, preseason news, everything up until kickoff night.
Thanks for watching. And again, remember to hit that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.